Do spirits who experience disagreements or grievances with one another when they were living make up on the other side? I love this question, and I'm so excited to answer it in this video because I think it is so important for us as humans living this earthly experience to understand. I think this is a question that so many people ask because when we are living this human experience, our grievances and our disagreements and the reason that we don't get along with one another, the reason we don't like each other, it's so deeply rooted in us, in our human psyches, in our negative emotions, if you want to call them that, so deeply rooted, it seems completely impossible to think that we would ever get along, that we would ever release those feelings and those disagreements. But the answer is that we absolutely do. We absolutely release those disagreements, those, if you want to call them hatreds of one another when we transition to spirit. We forgive one another. We love one another even when we transition to spirit. And the reason that we do that is this. It's because those journeys of disagreement, those journeys of grievances, those journeys of, even if you want to call them hatred, anger, of jealousy, of greed, of hurting one another, they're deeply rooted in the human ego experience. They are not rooted in our soul's journey, in our soul's experience of what happens when we transition to the other side. So that means that when we shed this physical body and we leave this human ego behind, we leave those feelings behind. We don't take those feelings of greed, hatred, anger, jealousy, even sadness over there with us. We leave with the purity of our soul, and we leave our ego, which belongs to humanity, which belongs to our body, behind with our humanity, which we shed. Okay? And when we transition over to spirit, our soul is a piece of the pie of higher consciousness. And by that, or through that, we are able to see all that is. And that means we are able to see not only the journey of our life here on earth, but the journey of all other people who we were intertwined with as a human and as a soul. We are able to see their journeys from the macro higher level perspective. And by that I mean we were able to see what we did and what other people did in a cause and effect way, in a cause and effect perspective. So giving a more specific example, perhaps we were a very bitter person, or we had a lot of bitterness inside of us. And when we were here living our earthly journey, this is being for a person who's now in spirit. When we were here living our earthly journey, we didn't recognize that we had a lot of bitterness inside of us. But this bitterness caused us to treat people in a very dehumanizing way, in a very angry way, in a not so nice way. Perhaps we went through a very bitter divorce and we were very mean to our ex-wife. I'll just use that word, I guess. And perhaps we weren't the kindest to our children. Now in spirit, we may see little pieces of our own childhood and perhaps the way that we were parented that would cause us to understand some of where our bitterness came from. We may also see some of our own father's childhood and upbringing as what formed him. Perhaps he was somewhat bitter or angry or depressed or had his own issues that caused him to parent us in a way, that parenting drove our bitterness and so on and so forth. We are able to see all of that. We are also able to see the journey of our ex-wife, who we treated, meanly is the word I had used. We are able to see her life journey, and we're able to see some of the things in her childhood or in her family's history that created domino effects or cycles that may have created some of her own behavior that we as a human, when we were here walking the earth plane, would have regarded in a certain negative light, or we may have reacted to. It may have, our ex-wife's behavior may have been a cause that affected us or caused us to treat her a certain way. But now that we're in spirit, we can see what was the domino, the dominoes all falling in her family that caused her behavior towards us. And then the dominoes in us that caused our behavior towards her. and so on and so forth. We have that view now that we're over in the spiritual realm. And we have that view because all of that mess or that muck was attached to our human ego. The anger, the bitterness, the sadness, the guilt, the shame, the depression, that's all human, very low vibrating human emotions. That when we shed our human body, our human brain, our human psyche, our ego leaves with it. So that mess, that muck, that junk leaves with it. Okay, so that's reason number one, that the grievances and the fights, the disagreements, the negative relationships are shed in spirit. And reason number two is our ability and vastness when we're in spirit is so incredible, and our ability to understand all that is so amazing that we see so much more than we were able to see here in our humanness, in our human body, especially if we were a person who was weighed down more than others by lower vibrating emotions, or who was more closed off by lower vibrating emotions. And I know this to be true because there have been countless situations as a psychic medium that I've gotten to see this in action. I've had, like a husband come forward with his first and second wife at the same time, or I've had like a client and then some spirit person come forward and they couldn't stand one another when they were living, and the spirit person comes forward and gives tons of information about the disagreement that they experienced with the client, and just super enlightening information about the disagreement and about the relationship that they never would have been able to give when they were here. Higher consciousness level information and apologies and understandings of why things were the way they were when they were here and what caused it, and apologies and understanding and empathy that is so deep that when they were here, they simply did not have the capability because the human ego had weighed them down so heavily. And the reason that we're here is to experience these journeys that our humanness takes us on, but we're also here to experience the up-leveling that we can engage in within our humanness through the realizations that the spirit is able to teach us, right? Like, I don't feel as though humanity is supposed to just keep going the way that it is going century after century after century. We as humans can learn through higher consciousness, through spirit, and help to up-level humanity at the same time. We don't need to keep generationally cycling through the same mistakes, so to speak. We don't need to keep leveling, cycling through those same mistakes. We can learn, we can progress, and we can change. And I think that is part of the reason that more and more light workers are coming about. And through technology and the inception of the internet, we're able to spread the more and more of the light of spirit and the messages of spirit. Anyways, I think that's more of an answer than this person bargained for. But short answer, yes. Long answer is what I just gave you. So, have any questions about this or would like me to elaborate further, drop a comment below. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a like button, show me some love in the algorithm. I would super appreciate it. Otherwise, until next time, much love. Bye.